Technical difficulties, as always. That's what we do around this place. Let's see if we can get some more light shed on the situation. There we go. A little better. So how are you guys today? How you feeling? One of the phones wasn't even connecting to YouTube, and I have no idea why. But we're here. Let's see what's going on here. It's offline. Let's try again. I think today's word of the day is misfit, is it not? Here we are. We're in. We're in. It's looking real blue today. It's weird. It doesn't really look that blue in this place. I mean, look at this is the reverse. See how blue it doesn't look? And then here it's super blue. I'm gonna stick with the blue. What up, Akuma? I'm gonna go turn down the music just a smidge, as my grandmother would say, smidge. There we go. So today has been quite the busy day. I've been working since I woke up, which was pretty early. Took my kids to school. Had a nice meeting with the director. Worked it all out. Draw. Some more drawing on top of that. Some more drawing on top of that. How about you? Tell me about your days, guys. I want to hear what's happening with your day. There we go. Look at that. Now it looks a lot better than it did. It was like really blue looking. You know? If I do this, there, it's purple. And now it's not purple. I gotta figure out the lighting situation, as I need to sometimes. Let's adjust it. Let's do this. There we go. I don't know what camera is which anymore. So tired. Today we're gonna be doing a digital one on the iPad, I think, just because I didn't have enough time to set up the camera. Wanted to, but I just didn't get a chance. Here's some different color shifts. There's a nice green, purple, a little bit of blue. There. I like that one. We can dim them down, which is really kind of cool. And the same with this guy. Let's dim this guy down so we get all that mood lighting in. Purple Nurple. Wasn't that a name of a drink or the name of a cannabis strain, if I remember correctly? I also think the reason why this camera looks a little bit different, like I said before, the one of the phones wasn't loading to YouTube, and it's that one that's facing us. That's usually the camera I use as the host camera. And you can see this is the one I usually use as a camera. And for some reason, it said, "Hey, let's not load." So I had to be real quick on the draw. I didn't even have a chance to pour myself a fine glass of beverage. This is Beaujolais Villages. I don't know if that's right, but it's made by Louis Jadot, and it's a 2016. This is one of my favorites. Rainy day in Florida. Man, it was nice and cold here today. I was happy to have that cold. It felt good. That's why I got my sweatshirt on, and when I had to turn my little heater on, that felt good too. I like that. And there's that little sort of buzz sound it makes that, I don't know, it's like a nostalgic thing. Question for you guys. Question. How many of you guys are actually seeing when I post that I'm going to do the live stream? I do a little like, hey, I'm coming on at 9. Not a video, but the JPEGs. How many of you guys are seeing the pictures? Because I'm realizing there's a lot of tricks that you have to play. Like on Instagram, I can't write the words link in bio because their algorithm searches for that. And what they want to do is they want to make you pay to promote a post, especially one that has a call to action. So it's really weird. And I noticed ever since they started the advertising stuff that they've squeezed down a lot of visibility. I used to get, and these are just numbers, but I used to get on an average of 1,600 to 2,500 likes on pictures, and now they're coming in around 300, 500. But I have more followers, which just seems weird, right? Like either my stuff is sucking or nobody's seeing it. And I've been reading up, and I'm finding that the algorithm, especially if you have a business account, they want you to pay money for visibility or they choke you down. So I want to, definitely take a look. What up, Comic Vantage? It's good to see you, Mr. S. Glad you're around. Thank you for joining on this Friday. My energy level might be a little bit low, might be, I don't know. It was very kind via yesterday. I didn't realize it, but when someone had asked me what comics I'm into and I had mentioned Shinobi Sasquatch, they figured out a way to isolate that part of the live, and they made a nice tweet about it regarding the fact that I liked it, which was cool. But one of the things I realized is how low key I am, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's 9 at night. It's after I've worked a full day. It's after I've done, it's basically after I've ran my battery down. So you guys are getting my vapors, and not catching the vapors like Biz Marquee, but vapors. And so, I watched it and I was like, I really like Shinobi Sasquatch. That Rob Willis is awesome. Just low. Not everybody can be Stan Lee. Not everybody can have that Rob Liefeld energy. And no, let me just dispel any rumors. I hear people go, he's a cokehead. Rob Liefeld doesn't touch anything. I think he had champagne at his wedding once. He's chastised me for my use of the cannabis before. So I know the guy. I know he likes his caffeine. I know he likes his coffee bean in his Starbucks. And a lot of the time when I meet up with him, it's in a Starbucks. That's his office away from offices. So, but one of the things I admire about him, outside of his level of creativity and his, he may not be a Bruce Lee fan, but he is like water. That man just moves. He's got the glow. Let's see what we got to say. I see posts on Instagram. Good. Black coffee. Yeah, 43 right. Meow. Today was the first time I saw the Instagram post. That's interesting, Down Market, because I've been posting them every single day. I post it in 3 spots. I post it Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I don't do the link thing. I don't post on Instagram and tick the little post on Facebook, post on Twitter. I go to each one individually to post. That way there's no way for the algorithm to go, this came from Instagram and let's squish it. No, I literally make it host posted. And it's just weird. Some of the audiobooks that I have, I'm doing a lot of studying on, at least these things become outdated by the time they're in print. But back in the day, I used to have it sort of figured out. I need to post at this time so people can see it. And it used to be in chronological order, and then they changed it. And after the change, then you have to worry about what hashtags you're using, and then after they monetized Instagram, then they wanted you to start paying. Similarly, YouTube, you can't post a video. If I do something on YouTube and then I want to share it on Facebook, Facebook goes, oh, that's a YouTube link, squish. And maybe 1 in 50 people see the actual thing, which is just crazy. You feel like it's a free market, but it really is not. So I want to say thank you so much for you guys being here in the first place, because you made it. You saw the beacon and you made it. And a lot of you guys are coming back because you're entertained or educated, or what is that? Edutainment. They call it edutainment, where you're entertained and educated at the same time. I hope to be both in some way, shape, or form. Some of you guys joined last night. Last night was quite the random episode. I was working, and Andre had sent me a text and said, hey, I'm sitting in my driveway and got nothing to do. Well, what do you think about Yaki and me coming over? I said, if you guys can make it by 9, come on through. And they got here about 5 minutes before 9. I thought it was 15 minutes before 9 because the clock had broken. which was no fun. No fun to have a clock break on you, especially 15 minutes before. Oh, hold on a second. I got well, I can't look at it here. What does it say? Do you want to pop on the auction for a bit and try to sell something? I'm going to write my friend back right now because it's hard to deal with certain things. So, what are you guys doing with your weekend? I'm like pretty stoked about the fact that my son is turning 6, and we are taking him to the aquarium. Atlanta has a pretty big aquarium. It's right next to the World of Coca-Cola, and my boy loves penguins. He loves them. He always has. He's loved them since he could say the word penguin. He used to walk around going, went, 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 went. You would think after about 4 years now of loving penguins, he'd be done with them, but he's not. He's not done with penguins. He wants to be a penguin for Halloween. He eats raw tuna because it's penguin food. If you ask him, it's penguin food. He's a funny dude. So that's this weekend, at least tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'll work. We'll go to the aquarium, have a good time, have an early dinner, come home and work. Then Sunday's his actual birthday. We'll do a little bit of fun for him. I will work. That's how crazy it gets, you know. I feel like it's a incredible blessing that I get to draw for a living. But there's sometimes where deadlines, they just don't wait. And, you know, doesn't matter if you're good at something or if you love something, sometimes it's work. Especially if you know, are working 16-hour days, like 10 days straight, and it just doesn't feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm not complaining. I feel very blessed. Let's see what else we got here. Andre needs to come off that coloring guide. What do you mean, come off the coloring guide? What do you mean by that? You mean like put it out? In Your Face Friday. What up, Mr. Milton? It's good texting with you earlier. Don't leave us for Mike. How did you know it was Mike? How did you know it was Mike Miller? Zaid? What? How did you know that? Because that was him. That was Mike Miller. He wanted me to be part of the auction. Were you watching his auction? And he said, I'm going to try to get Frega, because I wrote him back. I said, I'm live right now. I'm not going anywhere. You know, I know next week he wants to try to do his drawn and quartered where we do that. I got to figure it out. Again, so much work. So I feel like even though I'm working hard and fast, I always feel like I'm behind. And it's never a fantastic feeling. Let's see. Don't leave us for Mike. Hopefully working on my own comic may squeeze in a traditional art piece. Yes, penguins are awesome. Can you use social media management platform like Hootsuite to create one post and send it to all your social accounts? Saves time on going to all your social spots individually. I looked up Hootsuite. Here's the problem that I'm having, okay? A lot of times, and maybe Hootsuite works where when it does it, it's native and it doesn't say, hey, this is coming from Hootsuite, but it literally like spoofs that it is pure Twitter, pure Facebook, and all that. Because what I found is, like I said, if I put a post on Instagram and I tick a box that says also put it on Twitter, also put it on Facebook, those posts don't get seen as much because they're coming from an outside platform. So Hootsuite, I've looked into it, but I get a little wary because I want eyeballs. Publish the tutorial. Are you talking about the FDS lecture outline? Oh, TMC. Tom Petty. Snoop Dogg's birthday is October 20th. Is that right? Zaid, you do know all. You are a funny dude. So here's a crazy thing. I'm gonna tell you. Since we have 12 people, anytime we go over 10, I call it story time. Okay, so here's story time. And Matt Yackey was there. I wish he was here to co-sign. Maybe he'll hop on. So my buddy Ray, his name is Ray Brady. Oh, okay. That's how Zaid knows. So my buddy Ray Brady, he is a talented guitarist, musician, writer, And back in the early 2000s, he used to date Ashley Simpson. Used to play guitar for Jessica Simpson. Then, when he wasn't dating Ashley anymore, he started dating Fergie in the Black Eyed Peas. He also helped put her together with the Black Eyed Peas because she used to be in a group called Wild Orchid, and of course before that, she was in Incorporated. I have a Fergie story too, which is crazy. So Ray convinces Ashley to start singing. She does. She makes him her musical director, and I'm driving home from San Francisco at the time, and I have some fine grade Northern California fine grade. And Ray calls me and says, "Yo, man, we're doing Jay Leno. We're doing Tonight Show. You should come through." And I said, "Yo, man, I'm driving down right now. I don't. What time are you guys taping?" He said, "I forget. It was like 4 or something." So I said, "I'm gonna get there as quick as I can." So I get there, and Ray's like, "Yo, let's go check out the stage and all that." And I'm looking, and it's like much smaller than you would think, you know. Get there, and he's like, "Yo, you gotta know who the other guest is. We can go stop by his room." I said, "Who is it?" He says, "It's Snoop Dogg." I said, "No way. I've always wanted to meet Snoop." So I go in, and sure thing, Matt Yackey's there. He's already chilling, and he's buddies with Ray too. We had this thing called Cloud City. I miss it deeply. It was a lot like the Couchdoodles show, in person in my old garage, and we had a little TV and music, and we would just chat comics and movies and all the things under the sun, and you know there was always this nice level of haze. So Matt Yackey is in there. And I'm like, "Oh, Snoop, man, pleasure meeting you, man. Man, if I knew I was gonna meet you, I wouldn't have left this hash that I have in the car." And he says, "Ain't gonna do you no good in your car." I said, "You know what, man? You're right. Give me a minute." And I ran as fast as I could to my car, and I grabbed some of the Northern California love and some of that hash and ran it back. Now, Snoop has a guy who rolls joints for him. He just rolls. He rolls joints. And I hand it over to Dude, and Dude makes these really fantastic, like really tight but breathable lids, and we smoke. And this was roughly around the time where Snoop said he quit. Remember that? So we smoke and smoke and smoke. And Jay Leno comes in and he says, "I thought you weren't smoking, Snoop." And I was like, good God, his chin is huge. Like, and not making fun of him. It's just the TV reduces it. You heard that camera adds weight, but not here. Like, it takes things. So anyhow, it's like, yeah, haha, So we smoke some more, and they're about to go on. And Jay says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Snoop Doggy Dogg." And he comes on out, and he's talking to Snoop, and Snoop is faded. He's just faded. And he's like, "Tell us about your coaching your kids' football and blah, blah, blah. Now tell me, Snoop, I heard you quit smoking weed. Tell us about that." And remember, Jay had just walked in and was like above the clouds, And Snoop goes, "Ha ha, shit." Just like that, like a pause, and then just went, "Shit." And believe, they're filming, okay? They're filming. It's not live, but they're filming. And Jay goes, "Okay." He goes, "You know what, Jay, man? We need to redo this. Can you give me like 5-10 minutes?" So they had to redo it because apparently the stuff that I had brought up from up north was like a karate chop on Snoop Dogg. So I had to call my brother, who you've seen on here before, who goes by Audio Odyssey, and tell him, like, "Yo, you got to tell our man that he karate chopped Snoop Dogg," So that was one of those fun moments. And then there was another time that I got to smoke with Snoop. There's a thing called Jingle Ball. And again, Ashley was playing at it. or maybe it was the Peas. It was either Ashley or the Black Eyed Peas, but I was there as a guest, and I see Snoop, and he's like, "Yo, what up, yo?" So he remembered me because he remembered I was the comic book guy because I was drawing at the time. So he remembered that, and I remember they all go in the room, and his bodyguard put his hand in my chest because I was like 5 people back, and I hear, "No, no, man, you let him in. He's good." And I said, "I'm good." I wasn't even macho because this dude's hand was like getting hit by a truck in the chest. It was like, ugh. I was like, "I'm good." So we went and did that. That was fun. So I have love for Snoop. That's my Snoop Dogg story. I thought you guys would enjoy it. And I have a Fergie story that I'll tell another time because we get a story a day. We're up to 19 people. That is, our average seems to be 20, which is great. I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. We need to be like Hydra though. Turn 1 into 2 into 4 into 8 into 16 into 32 into 64 into 128 256 512 and then we start talking like, you remember when they were putting like RAM out and those flash drives? It always multiplied like that. Double up, double up, double up. Thank you, Comic Book Bob. You are appreciated, sir. Andrew J. What's up, man? Would you happen to be Andrew J as in Andrew Jenkins? Are you the same one? The one I went to school with? There's Mike Miller. I told you, man. I told you, and Zaid Comics knew. He's like, "Don't leave us for Mike, man." I was like, "How the fuck did you know?" Because I didn't name names. I just said my buddy wants me to come on his thing. I can't. So he knew. He knew. Oh, Mike Miller said to come by. What up, man? Thank you for that. I thought you were Andrew Jenkins. I know Andrew Jenkins. I went to school with his mom. He's working at Disney now. So it's kind of crazy to see like the next generation go on and do things. 20 people and 4 likes. Come on, guys. Dang, Bob. You're getting your workout right now, man. You're like, put them lights out. So you guys heard my Snoop Dogg story, and you guys have heard how I met Rob Liefeld. Did I ever tell you the 2 times that I got shut down so hard? There was one time where I got my ego stoked in a major way, and I felt like, yo, I'm onto something. But there were 2 times when I was younger that I got completely karate chopped, like Snoop Dogg, but karate chopped. So the very first time, it was WonderCon 1988. I'm 14, almost 15. I have my Marvel Masterworks, the first one that came out, the Fantastic Four, and I have the Spider-Man one. So I'm getting them signed by Stan Lee. This is the first time I'm ever going to meet Stan Lee. And when you're 14 years old and there's no social media, and the guy's coming to town, he's from New York, this was in Oakland, you're making the trip. And it was my also my very first convention I'd ever gone to, very first Comic-Con. So it was majorly memorable. I met Jim Lee, I met Michael Kaluta, Larry Martyr, a lot of guys, Sergio Aragones, guys that I still can call friends now. Like, thinking back on it, you go, holy crap, that was 31 years ago when I met these guys. So they've known me since I was a kid. So anyway, long story short, I'm in a line to meet Stan Lee, and the line's incredibly long. It goes into Artist Alley, because they used to put Marvel in the corner, and he was signing up Marvel, and his line went in front of tons of artists. And I start chatting up one of the artists because I see some stuff that he's doing and I like it. And he's working over some McFarlane layouts for Hulk. Guy's name is Eric Larson. I love Eric. Eric's a friend. We've had our ups and downs and our back and forth, but I really respect Eric. I'm telling you this story because it's the truth. So I'm there, and I said, man, your stuff's really good. And he's like, oh, I said, it's my first show. He's like, oh, you just come here for Stan? I said, nah, man, the whole thing, the whole bag, but I'm really excited to meet Stan and have him sign my book, and I'm going to give him this drawing. And he said, you're going to give him a drawing? I said, yeah, man. He said, he's just going to throw it away. I said, no, he's not, man. He's going to want to keep it. He's like, oh, well, how so? I said, well, I'm going to become a comic book artist one day. And this is me at 14. I straight up, like, this is how I was. I didn't say, I want to be. I literally said, I am going to be. So I said, I'm going to be a comic book artist one day, and I'm going to work for Marvel, and he's going to have my drawing and say, hey, yeah, I remember when, like that kind of thing. And Eric said, let me see it. And he looks at it. And he looks at me. He says, what do you do? I said, what do you mean, what do I do? I'm a kid. I go to school. He said, no, do you have a job? I said, yeah, man, I actually do work. I work at a pizzeria called Bellaroma. And he said, well, I hope you make good pizzas because you're never being a comic book artist. And he handed me my piece of paper back. So I'd never heard the song Ironside by Quincy Jones, but it's in Kill Bill. It's that that like an alarm's going off. I never heard that song before, but I'll tell you, that song was playing in my head the second he told me that I was never going to become a comic book artist. So that was number one, and then number two, I was 15, and I met Neil Adams for the first time, and he looked at my stuff and said it was pure garbage, that it looked like I was masturbating while I drew. And then he kept asking me, do you jack off while you draw? Because it sure looks like it. This is not what this looks like. This is, you know what, you're wasting my, like he was mad. You're wasting my time. Come back when you have something real to show me. So that sparked my friendship with Neil. Like Neil and I have been sparring ever since. And every time we see each other now, we throw little jabs, but it's out of love. I still show him my work. He still says I suck, which is, I believe him. I believe he believes that because he's Neil Adams, right? So, and then the other time there was a company called Continuity. Not Continuity, it wasn't Continuity, that's Neil's. I'm trying to remember what this one was called. It was ran by Dave Campiti, and I showed him my work, and he said, by the time you're 17, you're going to be a superstar. So that blew my head up a little bit. And then there was a guy named Mike Friedrich who ran a thing called Star Reach. And they were talking about representing me, but I had to turn 18 because they couldn't represent a kid, but they wanted to represent me. So those are the things that kind of felt good when I was a kid that made me really believe that I was on the right track. So I had a little bit of the bitter, a little bit of the sweet, and I'm here today, and we've had the ups and downs since. Let's see what we got here. I think I heard an Art Adams story. Yeah, I got some Art Adams stories. Okay, Andrew J., when you say Ralph Macchio's cousin, do you mean Sweep the Leg, Daniel San, Wax On, Wax Off, or do you mean the editor of Marvel Comics, Ralph Macchio? Because that throws me off. An Art Adams story. I'll have to watch the rest later. I gotta go. Have a good one. You too, buddy. Comic Book Bob. Eric likes to kill dreams. He is. He's the dream killer. Slick Rick, what up, man? The ruler. Art Adams. Wow, that's harsh. It's true. Motivation. That's right, man. Zayd, you know what? When Bloodstrike 1 had come out, and it outsold Savage Dragon 1, I, of course, made a point to call Eric and say, hey, not bad for a guy who makes pizzas, and he said something to the effect of, that could have crushed you or propelled you, and it propelled you, so I did the right thing. So I think he did. I mean, the thing is I would never do that, and the reason I would never do that is because dreams are real, and anything and everything is possible. Sometimes things click with people, I got to see Mike Turner's stuff that he showed Mark Silvestri, and it wasn't that good. And Mark gave him a chance, and Mike went for it. The main thing that I look for, especially when it's repeat critiques, like I meet people on the road or people send me their stuff, is I try to find out if they're listening. You know, that's the main thing, and you know, a level of comprehension in there. And I try to give my feedback the best I can. I'll tell you, the best critique I ever got was from Rob Liefeld in 1989. I have to say, he was thoughtful. He had things to say, but he also, it wasn't, if he was a doctor, he wouldn't go, "You're sick. It's clear to me you have a rash. You know, so you're sick and have a rash." Because that's basically what editors do. You're sick and have a rash. Okay, well, how do I get not sick and not have a rash? Rob was the first guy to, you know, throw the jabs down, but then he would say, "Hey, maybe you should take a look at, hey, have you heard of try to avoid the," you know, like actual legit advice. And sure, there might be some comments like, "He should take his own advice." I'm going to tell you the same thing that Marat will tell you, and this isn't like a company line. Rob draws the way he draws because he chooses to draw that way. I just want you to know that. Rob was classically trained. Rob went to school and learned under Marshall Vanderhoof, and you know, Rob knows his shit. He just chooses to draw that way. You know, it's like, I'm not gonna compare him to Picasso. Okay, I'm just using Picasso as an example. Picasso could paint, but he also did the stuff he did that people say that's not art, or, you know, the uneducated. So Rob does what he wants to do because he chooses to. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see what we got here. "You don't jack off while drawing. What do you do with your other hand? Rest? Lazy." Dude, that was cold-blooded, man. Should I try? I wonder if Adams did investigations. Maybe. Danielson Macchio. That's cool, dude. That's cool. "What up, Junkyard Dunn?" I always thought they were the same person when I was a kid. Yeah, right? Can you imagine? You know? Editing Spider-Man, being Danielson. Other than Cousin Vinny, I don't remember any other movie he's been in, which is kind of strange. I find that kind of bizarre. A lot of guys out there like that, you know. Let's open up the floor real quick for any questions before I jump in drawing the word misfit. I don't know what I'm going to draw. I'm sure as hell not going to draw Danzig. In fact, I'll tell you my Danzig story. Since Mr. Blacklist Universe, a.k.a. Mike S. Miller, you mentioned the word a-hole. I have never had so much disdain and vitriol for one individual, and perhaps it's rooted in, I wouldn't say it's rooted in my own hubris. It's rooted in just how dickish the guy was, okay? So there's a certain piece by Arthur Adams, and it was in DC Who's Who. It's Catman, and Catman's standing there, and behind him he's fighting Batman, and there's like a portrait in blue. First time I ever had seen that figure was this DC Superheroes role-playing game, and it was just that Catman isolated. I didn't know who drew it. I didn't know anything. This was like, I think before I knew who Art Adams was. I just knew I loved that drawing. Like, it was powerful. The proportions were great. He looked cool. Catman's a stupid-looking character. Not when Art Adams draws him. Okay? So, anyhow, flash forward. 1993, San Diego Comic-Con. Glenn Danzig of the Misfits is also an art dealer, art collector, art dealer, publisher of erotic comics. Employed my friend Matt, so that's the only reason I wouldn't want to, drop kick a nuclear kick in his nut hole. I hope you heard that, Danzig. I hope someone isolates this little piece. Fuck you. And that's, 26 years old that I want to say that. 26 years ago, this is that fuck you. So Danzig has the Catman original. He has it, and it comes in 2 parts. Okay? The Catman, and then the background part. So they worked in layers. I lost my shit. I'm like, oh my god. You have Catman. You have Catman. Like, I said, dude, this is awesome. How much? He says it's $800, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money back then, even more money back then. But not for your grail. Like, literally my grail. Pull out, I got $500 in my hand, and I said, okay, here's $500. The ATM is right outside that door. Please hold it. I'm buying it. You hold it? Yeah, I'll hold it. I ran to the ATM, ran back. I was gone less than 3 minutes. Cash in hand, I put the money out, and he says to me, sold it. And I said, right, okay, dude, you're funny, man. Nah, here's the money. He said, nah, I sold it. Sold it to him. And there's this guy sitting there holding it, cherishing it, as he should. And I said, yo, dude, you said you'd hold it. Business is business. I said, no, you said you would hold it. I was back in less than 5 minutes, dude. He's like, it's not my problem anymore. You want that piece? Talk to him. Talk to him. He's the owner of the piece. Like, that's fucked up, man. And I go over to the other guy and I said, hey, he was supposed to hold that for me, and you bought it. I told him the story. It's like, nah, man, I love this piece. I said, what do you want for it? I'll give you $1,000 for it right now. Nah. I said, okay. I'll give you $1,200 for it right now. I said, no. I said, and he goes, just stop. I said, what? He said, I'm not selling it. I said, and I looked at him, I said, do you know what it's like to be looking for a certain thing, finding that thing, having it in your hands, and then losing it? Do you know what that feels like? He said, tough break, man. So anyway, I don't like Glenn Danzig. That's my Glenn Danzig story. So, yeah, good times. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. I cannot like an artist's style, but still respect the influence and understand it, like Picasso and such. Yes. The Outsiders. Yeah, that was before Karate Kid. You're right. I don't really get criticism on the internet. As for Liefeld, he's a cartoonist, not a medical illustrator. Amen. Thank you. I met Danzig. I said, I thought you'd be taller. He did not seem to enjoy it. You were here, Mr. Miller. You are now here, Mr. Miller. I salute you. I remember when Wizard magazine that said Danzig should be Wolverine. Yeah. I miss Wizard too. I do. What am I drawing tonight? I'll tell you, Mr. Blastshield. I'm going to be drawing something with Misfit in it. I don't know. Someone said Misfit toys, but I have to be honest. I don't know what a Misfit toy is. That is my short-sightedness. I'm going to use this phone, not this phone, or that phone, to look up what Misfit toy is. And maybe it'll be a fresh reminder of something I do know, but maybe I don't. Let's see, Misfit toys. Go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the Island of Misfit Toys. Interesting. It's very interesting. What up, D-Oots? Oh, these are interesting. Okay. It's like the polka dotted elephant and the... See, I do know them. I just didn't know they were called that. Interesting. Interesting. Those are cute. Those are super cute. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Rudolph and the Island of the Misfit Toys. See? There you go. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. All right. See, all you guys know. Junkyard done. I like that, dude. A hearty serving of D's. And you don't mean Rick D's in the morning. You mean what you mean. My 6-year-old's funny. Harrison, you guys have met him. He said to me today at dinner time, what kind of food can you measure with? I was like thinking he was going to say a foot-long sub, and I was trying to think of something that had ruler in it. And I'm a dummy because it's what he was eating. He said, enchilada. It's a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old kid's joke. I gotta have love for that little dude. Bummed out. Maybe tomorrow after the aquarium, when we do the live stream, I'll pull him down because he'll be stoked for that. He wanted to join in and hang with you guys. We are the misfits, we're gonna get ya. We are the misfits, we're gonna get ya. Bust out the gem and the holograms, misfits. See, those are things I'll have to look up, you know. That's maybe that'll be what we'll do today is how to use reference. Maybe we'll do it that way because I don't have the Island of Misfits toys in my head. I also don't have Gem and the Holograms Misfits in my head. So maybe what we can do, remember when I said I don't use reference unless I need it? Today might be the day. Today might be the day. Where are we at time-wise? We're at 42 minutes. I've just been talking. I haven't even entertained you guys other than some stories, which I got lots. I got lots of stories. That's one of the great things about being on this earth for so long, is having the crazy experiences. I don't think I've ever thought I was gonna die, though. And I gotta find this footage. A couple weeks ago, you guys might have seen this World War II aircraft crashed in Connecticut. Rooster Puncher's girlfriend had just landed there, so it was kind of scary for him. But what was interesting is that same aircraft, that very plane, not that same kind of plane, but that exact plane, the plane that crashed, I was on it because what they do is it's a conservatory for these beautiful planes, these bombers. And what they do is they charge a fee and they take you up and fly you around. And you can do stuff like they open there's a top hatch that's just wind, right? There's no bubble of glass. You could stick your head out of the plane and feel the rush of the air in your face. And I did that. I did it with that plane, and I have footage of it, so I want to get it. But it really saddened me when I saw that because I've been on that plane. I enjoyed it. It was a wonderful experience, and now it's nothing. It's gone. And people died, and that sucks. Are you not entertained? Oh, man, you guys are too sweet. I'm a funny guy, I guess. All right. So what we'll do then, while I'm drawing, I want you guys to think, because you've seen some of my comic collection that's on the iPad, and you guys have taken a look at the spinner rack. We'll do a quick drawing. We'll do another quick sort of review of a classic joint. But I want you guys to pick. You know, you can say, do something, pick an artist or pick a book, and we will do a little jump into it. What up, Mike? You said yo. What's up, dude? You rolling? Let me start the old iPad up. Hopefully we can get it going. Oh, what did this say? Alright, let me close these apps out. Should be more prepared. Let me do it this way. I remember last time that when you start the broadcast, the orientation that you start the device in is the one that it'll broadcast in, and it doesn't, it won't rotate. That's one of the things that is, you learn these things on the go, on the fly. So it's good to know. So we are in. You're in on the thing. Joe Mad, that's a good one. What up, Peter Mike? How are you? I am Fudge. Elmer J. Fudge. I own a mansion and a yacht. But I don't. I don't own a mansion or a yacht. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm launching Procreate right now. I could launch 5, but let's look up the word misfits from Gem, like this. This is the great thing about this iPad, is we can end up doing a split screen. Oh man, they're quite interesting, aren't they? We are the misfits, we're gonna get you. Alright, there we go. So now we're gonna pull this back up, and we have this. What happened there? That did that again. It was Pinterest. That's why it was like, we're not helping you. There we go. All right. They're not as misfitty as I thought they would be, you know? I thought they would be a little more badass somehow. And they're not. So let's draw them. I guess we'll do that. We'll draw the misfits. I got a layer. I got Beast. And let's see what we got. Here's some more misfit stuff here. Whoa, that one's a little racy. I like the misfits, man. That's super 80s. So let's I'm gonna let you guys know right now. When we talk, we have to be honest with each other, right? I'm not that good at drawing the ladies. And it's just one of those things. I draw monsters really well. I draw tech pretty decently. I can draw kids really well. It's the ladies I have a really hard time with, and I don't know if it's a psychological thing, or if they're better than I think they are, or if they're worse than I think they are. I don't know. That's the weird thing, is like I said, I don't feel like I draw the best ladies at all. I won't lie. I'd watch Gem after some He-Man and Transformers. Bro, I won't lie either. So did I. That was the shit, man. I mean, that's one of the cool things about growing up in the 80s, is we had like really good classic stuff. Now, I personally will say to you that I wouldn't recommend going back and looking at those things, because they don't age well. I was very, very sad that I had this affinity for these things, and we don't want that. We want it to be uniform. I need to shrink it down a slight bit. Is that because Neil Adams was right? Oh, Slick Rick. Look at the ruler coming in there. He's right. It's because you're probably right. It's because I busy beating off while I draw. And once you bust one, you're just like, yo, I don't want to draw no more. So then, like, the drawings, drawings never got done. Like, I'm tired. I'm not gonna finish this. No, I think Neil just had a way of critiquing. He no holds barred, at all. I mean, I was 15. Like, what adult talks to a 15-year-old like that? They always have like a mean look, right? So they gotta do a little bit of that Elvis lip action. Pull this over so we get a little more drawing area. She's going We are the misfits. Gotta give her meaner eyes too, I think, because I'm looking at this drawing and it's like they're more square and eyeshadowed and kind of mean looking. And then they got that sweet Kaja Gugu hair. Yeah, 80s ladies had that dope look. I mean, this hair is out of control when you look at it, right? It's like pieces. So this song that's playing in the background was a collaboration between my buddy Alex Castaneda and myself. He came in and did the do part, which turned the song really dark. It started off like pretty upbeat, and then it got dark. Yeah, see, I hate this already. I hate this drawing already, but you know what I learned? Sometimes you can still roll with something after, if you don't like it, you can still kind of roll with it. And I'm an avid believer in not beating something to death, but also not giving up, you know? I also tend to draw heads too big on girls. We end up drawing, like they say, we end up drawing ourselves or end up drawing our wives, and like my wife is like 5'1", and so I draw them short. Yo, these outfits are dope. I wish I could draw one of those. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. But you guys want the misfits, so they're gonna get me. Gem misfits. All right. So this, I feel like I'm in a good place with this. At least good enough to work with it. Here's some hooch action. Man, that's somebody who really liked the misfits. You could tell the care that they put into that. And my girl is looking a little Christina Aguilera-ish too, which is kind of weird. All right, so I'm going to reduce the opacity on this layer like this, which is kind of like the taking your pencils and taking a kneaded eraser to it until it gets lighter. That would be the analog version of it. So here I can look at this and go, okay, I can see she's got this thing that goes this, and right now what I'm trying to do is think about shapes and forms and how this thing would wrap across her breasts. And then the same thing with her sash. She has this bit hanging in front, but I'm gonna do a little bit of fun because it's fun. There we go. A little bit of that. Because it's always fun to get crazy with the capes and whatnot. Yeah, dude, Peter Mike, it's a weird thing how things change for us as we get older. You know, like obviously our taste buds change, which is a physiological thing, but it's finding all kinds of different things happen. I'm gonna give her some fingerless gloves because nothing says 80s quite as well as fingerless gloves. Especially with that back popped out like that. I want to put the Velcro strap popping the other way. I think it'll look cooler if it's popping out like that. Jerkmonger. Where's Jerkmonger? I love that dude. Elliot, is he here? Elliot! Yo! What's up, man? Good to have you. I'm not gonna try to rub any salt in the wound, but like, my Twitter account got jacked, and I had to start a new one. And then when I tried to find you, I could not find you. And then I found out that you left, and I'm almost with you on that because I feel like Twitter is a cesspool of epic proportions. I feel like Twitter is a full-on cesspool. Appreciation of time. When you are young, you don't even know how hot to identify the value of time. Oh, how to? Yeah, it's true. And it has, there's this old extreme artist, right? His name is Brian Murray. And he and I were talking about the concept of time and why it seems to go faster the older you get. And we realize it has something to do with relativity, right? And what I mean by that is, like, when you're Harrison's age, my son, when you're Harrison's age, 3 years is half his life, right? Well, 3 years, I mean, I've lived 3 years more than 10 times. I've lived 3 years more than 15 times. So that's why my brain will kind of recalculate time along with what it means in relative terms to the other time that I've spent on this planet. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, that time. One of the problems I have with this particular her face is like it isn't as angular as the interpretations of Misfits, so I'm gonna see, here I go. This is the kind of stuff that I get hung up on. As a professional for 28 years, I still I get hung up on little things like jawlines and subtle things, and it mostly has to do with women. like the way women are drawn, and I don't think it's a psychological thing in that they're women. I think what it boils down to is that with a creature, like if you draw a creature, you can be off the reservation, like style wise, and the creature's just gonna keep looking cooler. But when you draw a girl, the smallest little mess up, like a small little tiny detail, can turn her from looking pretty into grotesque in a really really fast sort of way. And I think that's what ends up happening with me is I know that proportions I can get messed up. Like here now I'm seeing that there's too much room in her chin in relation to the face I drew. I like the face, but I needed to trim some of that chin off. And then I feel a little better about it now. I'm going to give her a choker because she is a misfit. There we go. I don't entirely hate it. Do not entirely hate it. Peter's here too. What up, Peter? How are you, man? Happy Friday to you guys. We're up to 28. That's a nice number, man. This is a good number to have. Hello? I realize I'm in the corner now, and I'm like, you're seeing the top of my bald ass head. Welcome, newcomers. Welcome to the Couchdoodles show. I'm your host, Fragaboom. Here's our little logo that we pop in there so you know where you're at. So I feel pretty decent about where this is going. Let's just tidy her up. And then I can throw some light sources and things in there. With that skirt. My favorite girl artists kind of ebb and flow because a lot of the guys I like are old classic illustrators like Elfgren and guys like that. I like Frazetta too. I like Adam Hughes, but the thing that's interesting about like Adam Hughes's work is that anytime I see anybody do anything remotely close to what he's doing, like Terry Dodson or somebody like that, only person I see is Adam Hughes. It's that strong and defined that this chick is possibly on coke. Well, she is a misfit. I do believe that might be part of their character is to be on coke. But if they were, they would say we are the misfits. You're gonna get us, because from what I've heard, that's a paranoid. It's a paranoia inducing substance. I wouldn't know because I don't touch it. I will never touch it. In fact, I had a girlfriend one time that brought it to my house one time and wanted me to try it, and I broke up with her on the spot. So that's how I feel about that shit. That shit's garbage. There's no, like, I always say if it doesn't have a happy ending, then I'm not gonna try it. So, for example, you never hear of a, well, don't go with the, let's not talk about happy endings in regard to like massage parlors because the jokes can go there quick. But I'm saying That's too short. Too short. I'm repping the Bay when I say too short. No, but I'm saying there's you never hear like man, that guy, he started taking heroin and his life went uphill, or that guy used to be such a dick and then he started taking heroin and like I really like him now. You don't hear stories like that, and you don't hear stories like that in regards to regarding cocaine or anything like that. But yeah, Bacalo's Chris or Bocello, I like his too. Booger sugar, love it. I love any sort of euphemisms. Like I have this beer called Jazz Cabbage that tastes like weed, and I just like the fact that it's called Jazz Cabbage. Or the one. What was the other one I really like? I like the one Devil's Lettuce. That one's good. Devil's Lettuce. Boy, are you on the Devil's Lettuce? Or my friend's girlfriend used to say, "Are you guys doing weed? Did you guys do weed?" What do you mean? Did we do weed? That's the weirdest question I've ever heard, lady. All right, putting in the zebra print in here for you. There's Chauncey. Man, I was wondering if you were gonna make it. You are the master of insight digging, man. Nose beers. I've never heard that one. That's pretty good too. Nose beers. This is interesting. I'm looking at the ref and I'm like, she just has this little black little tie right here, just cause maybe it's her little tourniquet for whatever business she's gonna get into. I feel like fishnetting her out because it just feels right. But let's put in her makeup. I just zombified her when I did that. Sometimes things are better when they're in color. Critias, I like your style, man. What's interesting about that is that's how back in the day my man Ethan Van Sciver introduced himself. He said, "Yo, I'm Ethan Van Sciver. You're gonna do a cover for me." And I was like, "Who? Who are you, dude?" And he's like, "I'm Ethan." And I was like, "All right, well, if you really want me to do a cover for you, I guess I will." And that's how I did that Cyberfrog cover for him back in the day. Kind of weird. We are the Memphis, our songs are better. That's excellent. Yeah, I'm aiming for that 4,000 hours. I was one of those guys who got hit by the February 2018 change. I started YouTube back in 2006. I didn't do too much content wise. I had a few videos, especially some classic stuff from Extreme Studios that got like, big time 30,000 views, and I got monetized almost based off of that video, which was cool. And I wasn't making a lot of money from it, but what was interesting though was let's take a look at that one. There's the Misfits. Oh, they change up. That's cool. Man, I should have put some rips. I'm gonna fishnet this thing out. And then in February 2018, they said, no, you need 1,000 subs, And thank goodness, hopefully he's still in here too. My buddy, Comic Vantage, both he and Mike Miller helped me get my subs up to 1,000, which was really, really cool. What up, Zach? What up, new guys coming from Mike's channel? That's really sweet of Mike to do that. I've known Mike for a long time. We came up together through Image Comics and the old studio ways. Mike was over at Wildstorm with Jim Lee, and I was over at Extreme Studios with Rob Liefeld. And interesting times, man. Really, really, really interesting times. I almost want to put a third one in here and make it do this. Just because balance-wise, I feel like it needs it. Dun. There we go. And then do this. I like the palm tree. That can't go wrong with the 80s palm tree. I'm not good at logos, so there are I call them the L's because they start with L, but when it comes to drawing, the jobs I don't take have L's in them, and those L's are logos and likenesses, and I think with likenesses, the issue has to deal with nobody thinks they look like a drawing of themselves. It's kind of like when you hear your own voice on a tape recording, any sort of audio recording. You're like, that doesn't sound like me, because you're in your head and you gotta feel the bass of your head in your ear, so you sound deeper and cooler. At least I think I do. Let's go solo on this thing. Bam. There we are. But like, I remember when we went through it last night. There was this Extreme Zero, was this comic book that we used to showcase some new creations like Black Flag, Cybrid, Lancers, Code 9, Law and Order, Risk, bunch of creator-owned stuff. Rob, it was the first time Rob kind of said, "Hey boys, you got some of your own creations. Why don't you give it a stab?" So we did, and Black Flag was my offering. But in the back, there were these little like bios on us, like tell you a little bit about us. And Rob hired Marla Alquiza to come in and draw us all. And I remember, like, when I saw mine, I'm like, that does not look like me. My nose is wrong, eyebrows are long, you made my chin big, like all this stuff, you know. And now here it is 20 something years later, and it looks exactly like I did. It totally does. So problem with likenesses, especially when you're working for a client, is that you will inevitably do version after version after version, which makes me want to tell you guys about a story about Michelangelo. He had the Medici and a bunch of patrons, which is where Patreon comes from. And this particular patron had commissioned him to do the statue of David, you know, the one where he's like this and he's got the junk and all that. So the patron says to him, "It looks really good, but the nose is too big. It needs to be trimmed down a little." Michelangelo is the master, and he knew it was just right. But instead of fighting the guy, he said, "Okay." And he bent down to get his tools, and when he went to get his tools, he also grabbed a bit of marble dust with him. And he went up on the ladder, and he just tapped the nose, not really sculpting anything away, but took some of that dust and let it fall as he was hammering. And he came back down, and the patron looked at it and says, "Now it's perfect." So that's make of that story what you will. But it's legit. It's legit. Okay, let me take a look at the chat window. I didn't get to see it all, so if I missed some questions, my apologies. Chauncey, you just got off work, man. You're a hardworking man. Would you ever do another Cyberfrog cover? He was talking variants the other night. Yeah, if Ethan asked me to, sure. I mean, I did one before. I was one of the first variant guys for him. I wish I still had mine. I know I penciled it and he inked it, which was kind of like a fun combo, so maybe we'd do something like that. Zach, thank you for coming over, man. D, I just did my Misfit piece. It was of the Misfits. 40 people? That is the power of Mr. Miller right there, dude. You just doubled my usual crowd. Hopefully you guys that are visiting, I want you guys to meet some of the gang that are here. You probably know some, but we got guys like D. Oods and Chauncey Blakely and Mike Green and Comic Vantage and a lot of regulars. I don't want to miss anybody, but it's Peter Samedi, a lot of just awesome people. Akuma, a guy named XYZ, Mr. W, Mike Milton, Matt Yackey. So those are the Couchdoodles live regulars, and I just started doing my freestyle vid. Where did you see my freestyle vid? Was it on YouTube? Did I post any freestyle videos? Because that's the thing. Now that we have 41 people in here, I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna have to mention the junk. It was there though. It was just. That's why a lot of dudes are angry, because the little junks. So yes, I like to freestyle rap, and I keep threatening the group to freestyle, and I say, yo, all you have to do to get me to freestyle, number one, is ask, and then number two, so you know it's legit, you guys put words in the chat, and I'll read them, and I'll put them into a rhyme, because that's what I do. I have a couple. I actually have a separate Instagram that was dedicated to freestyle rapping. And what I did back in the day when I was driving to Mattel, and this is like I had an hour and a half each way minimum. So I was in my car 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. So when you're in your car 15 hours a week for 5.5 years, your favorite albums get old. You listen to every audiobook you can. You can't really call all your homies, because calling them at 7:30 in the morning, they don't want to hear from you. So there's a lot of dead time, and screaming at traffic is no fun. So what I decided I would do, one thing was to do the grave, the other thing was to freestyle rap, and what I did with the freestyle rap is I felt like it was like a mental warm up. So when I got into work, I felt like I knew the edges of my brain, because it works certain parts of improv. It works the same sort of muscles that chess would work. It also, when you see me do the drawings without layouts, it's very similar to that, which is, you've heard me say it before, I call it the time travel principle, but you see it as if it was done before it's done, or in the case of freestyle, you go down the line, and as you're rapping, you're of two minds. There's one that's doing the work, but then there's the other one that's cross-checking against this word, how about this punchline against this one? Oh, then you can lead into that, all while still rapping. So it's like you're using two parts of your brain. That's also the same thing, and one of the reasons I enjoy being able to do this show and draw at the same time is talking and drawing at the same time are very difficult, and a lot of the regular viewers will notice that sometimes I'll get quiet, and that's when I get lost inside a drawing. And come to think about it, I think I just figured out why. It's three parts. I'm using three parts in my head because I'm drawing. I'm thinking of what that drawing is in the future, and I'm thinking about what to say to you guys. So that's why it slows down. But just like any other exercise, I think a lot of it and doing it regularly will help the process a lot. Also, the other thing I'd like to do is work on my public speaking. I had tried to go to Toastmasters at Mattel, but they kept scheduling meetings. They, being other departments, kept scheduling meetings during Toastmasters at Mattel, so I never got a chance to do it. I'd like to be able to eradicate the uhs and ands and pauses, keep the energy up, have the uhs, ands, and pauses as a necessary device. But a lot of times it's because my brain will deliver chunks like this, and then there would be no chunks for a while, and then more comes, and you feel like malfunction a little bit. Okay, let's see. It's not easy to freestyle off the top of things you see your words are given. Like you said, the two parts of the brain makes it hard, like multitasking. That's right. That's right. Let's see what you guys have to say. Rooster Puncher, what up, my man? It doesn't matter that you're showing up late, dude. I actually mentioned you about maybe 20 minutes ago because I was talking about that bomber crash in Connecticut where your girlfriend flew in. So you were already here in spirit, dude. Let's see. They call us the Misfits. Welcome, newcomer. You do freestyle vids on the Instagrams. Okay, so Jason, I do, but I got a lot of clap back for doing that, and then I clap back with sort of like a, oh yeah, well, fuck you, but not in those words, and that a lot of people didn't like that, and I lost because I rapped and because I clapped back. I lost over 700 followers in less than a week, and that was crazy. Like, on one hand, I don't care because you go, well, if you're only here and you want me to do one thing, and you won't allow me to try this other thing, or you say I'm not following you or I'm gonna unfollow you because you go, well, that's cool, but it's also like dickish. But at the same time, I can co-sign that thing, which is where I ran into sort of a dilemma in my mind. And the reason I say that is I went to a Madonna concert with my wife a couple years ago. It was not for this last album. It was wasn't for Rebel Heart either. It was for Hard Candy. And in the middle of the show, she decided she wanted to do 45 minutes on political stuff. Fight the power, don't be oppressed, like all these things. Here's this girl in this other country, and she did it, and we should have this attitude. I mean, she took 45 minutes of her concert to give us a spiel, you know? And I'm thinking, that's not why I'm here. I came to, like, hear Like a Virgin and Material Girl and Lucky Star and get into the groove and, you know, Vogue and express yourself. Like, you know, Madonna songs, what am I doing? But you know what I'm saying. So I realized people's Instagram feeds, they associate that particular feed with getting drawings, and when they see this sort of like, I had one guy who was mad harsh. He was crazy harsh, and I gotta thank him for it because he was honest. And now I consider the guy a cool guy, and we're now Facebook friends, and he's a nice dude. But he said, after I said the whole thing about I can post what I want, and he said, it's kind of difficult when you're looking for art and you see a pathetic middle-aged man with corny rhymes over really weak beats. Okay. So I said, hey, I wrote him. I was like, hey, man, like, thanks for the words, and like, they kind of hit me a little, and but I'm the kind of guy. I said I'm the kind of guy, and I told him the Eric Larson story. I said I'm the kind of guy that when someone says you can't, I actually double down. I get real. That's if you want to get me to like really double down on something, tell me that I can't. And I don't mean like, you can't have that candy. Oh yes, I can. It's not like that. It's just doubting potential. That's what I say. Like, doubting potential to me is a major infraction. But anyway, so I did slow up on the raps, and I've been hiding them. I've been hiding my raps in my drawings. So I think what people were offended by wasn't necessarily the rapping itself. I think it was just seeing this face, this face rapping. I think that's what it boiled down to. They didn't want to see bald, gray hair, whatever. Which, that makes me think about a couple other things, like one would be, hey, this is an opportunity to change, right? Like, I am out of shape. I am sloppy right now. Maybe that is motivation to get better, So there's those things. Also, I know, like, these beats that you're hearing, I'm pretty decent at writing beats. I'm not gonna say I'm great, but like, they're okay. And I'm pretty good with wordplay, and I'm very good at freestyling. That said, the freestyles don't really have a lot of lyrical content. When I write, though, I tend to put it in. Let's go to the chat window, take a look, and then someone said let's look at some Joe Mad, so we might do that. My logo is my mug with my bad eye missing. That's cool. You embraced it. I like that, man. Man, this chat window's been moving. I'm like way back. Yo, Junkyard Done. You said you brought up Jazz Cabbage, so I got some wine right here, and then the beer I have, which is still about a third of a can left, is called Jazz Cabbage. That's it right there. It's made by Terrapin. They're a Georgia company, and one of the things that was kind of interesting about relocating is, of course, the different grocery stores. Not a Safeway, not a Vons, not a Pavilions, not a single one of those in sight. Kroger's, Publix, tons of those. Not a single Jack in the Box, not a single 7-Eleven, not a single El Pollo Loco. Anybody on the West knows what I'm talking about. I did a show in Texas. I went to Houston, and there was a Jack in the Box in the airport, and I had to have it because I couldn't have it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thing. But anyway, back to the beer. It's a Georgia beer company, Terrapin, and the Jazz Cabbage is one of the euphemisms, but it makes perfect sense, Let's see what we got here. 50. We're up to 53, man. You guys are really representing. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for sending your peeps over, and all of you awesome people that decided to take the chance and come visit the Couchdoodles show. I want to thank you. We just started this live thing. You'll see some of my older videos are from back in like 2006, 2007. And those were just posting. Like, I didn't understand what content was, just posting stuff. And then 2015, 2016, I decided I wanted to do something called the Fragaboom show, and I was filming stuff and mostly giving art tips or like, I guess there are tips, but like the process, right? Like, this is how I made this cover, or today we're gonna make a shirt, and those sort of things. Uh, and I realized like they would kind of max out at maybe 150 views. So obviously, if you're gonna take the time to create something, you want eyeballs, right? Like there's there's ways to look about social media. So there's one which drawing of is like a baby bird opening his mouth like it's hungry, and all the thumbs up flying his mouth like the baby bird with likes. I did Inktober for the word hungry. So there is that, right? Like just going for broke and just trying to what is that word? My brain does that sometimes. As a freestyle is one of the controversial. See, there it is. So people are controversial for controversial sake, right? Just to get people to be like, God, fuck, kick that person's ass. I want to talk. There are plenty of that stuff out there, and they want eyeballs because they want to generate something, or maybe they're creating a distraction, something else. I'm not political, but I want because I have something to say. And here we are, 52 people. So this is more than what we are usual. So now I have the 52 you guys here. I'm going to tell you what the Couchdoodles show is about and what the future of Couchdoodles will be. A lot of you regulars know because I beat the drum, and you guys know I'm about it. Inktober is sort of our primer, and as we go past Inktober, we'll do more of what I'm talking about. So if you look in the About section on my channel, it says Couchdoodles. We would like to ignite, inspire, illuminate creativity in others through example. And I don't just mean my example. So what I did, and I wanted to say I have 24 interviews, but I only have 23 because I lost one of them, and I already reached out to Freddie, so hopefully he'll get back to me. Freddie Williams, I lost his interview, but I've interviewed 24 people. I have 23 of them who I consider masters at what they do. I have filmmakers, I have industrial designers, toy designers, animators, and most prominently comic book artists. So my very first interview was with my friend Jung Gi. You guys know him as the amazing Kim Jung Gi. He was my very first interview. I also interviewed his partner and co-founder of Super Annie, Hyejin Kim. My next interview was with Neil Adams. So Neil gave me a nice interview. He went off the rails, which I can't wait to share with you. Got Rob Liefeld in there. Got Mike Mignola, Mark Bagley, Jim Mahfood, Ken Lashley, Dennis Cowan. See, brain froze again. Mr. Reverend Dave Johnson, Coley Hamner, Carl Potts, Larry Hama, Howard Chaykin. These are all guys that were gracious enough to let me pick their brains. I asked them the same questions. Every guest gets asked the same questions in the same order. Mignola was very funny. He asked to see the sheet first. Some guys, they don't care. He wanted to see it, and he went through and he said, "I'm not answering that. This is ridiculous." Like, he went through. So when you see the interview, there are a couple he goes, "I didn't see that one. I would have crossed it out, but I guess I'll answer it." I've had a couple of like the hardest no I got was from Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm straight up told me, "No, I don't do those." So I got that. I got a hard no from Bruce. Jeff Darrow gave me a yes, a no, a maybe, a yes, a heck no, 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 no. I have guys that have said yes that haven't been interviewed yet on the docket, and I will interview them. I've got Frank Quietly. His name is Vince Deegan, but he said yes. Simon Beasley said yes.
Tom Rainey said yes. Mike Zeck said yes. Larry Hama, I already got Larry. Jim Shooter said yes. Michael Golden said yes. Art Sudam said yes. A lot of classic 80s guys said yes. So that's one of the things I try to do when I'm at shows is see if they'll be interested. And now I bring my pack with me where I have my gear, I have my mics, my cameras, and we're good to go. So what I'm doing is, somebody had said it, they call this a variety show. It's going to turn into a variety show even more so, and what I mean by that is we're going to have a lot of pre-recorded stuff during the live session. I plan on doing some fun content with a character I have called Looking for Love. If you've ever seen my Instagram, you see this robot whose heart's always broken, looking for love. He's missing an arm but trying to grab a butterfly, or singing to a lovebird and it flies off, or staring at ice cream and it falls. So these would be like wordless things. I also have another idea, and if you guys are on Facebook, maybe you can go give it a like. I parked it there several years ago. It's simply called Dan Fraga's Fight, and I'm actually gonna look to you guys for this, and I'll tell you the concept. The concept is very simple. It's two combatants, two unlikely combatants. So say like an 8-year-old boy and a 60-year-old war vet fighting each other. So the format is you show the person, the other person, you show the 5 items that they get to fight with until death. So let's say it's a chainsaw with 15 seconds of gas, a ladder, a bar of soap, an ashtray, and a sock. So that's the splash page, is the two combatants and what they have to fight with. And then they fight to the death. And it gets gory and grimy, and I try to use that as a way to really stretch my brain. So I'm going to be putting some of those up. Fight will end up coming up. And then the ones that won't come up, but it's something that I thought about, and something for you guys out there that are creative. What I want to do eventually is this anthology. I briefly mentioned it in The Grave. I mentioned the concept, but not the name. The name of it is just simply called Pawn. And each of the episodes or issues of Pawn start the same. So we see a pawn shop anywhere in the world. The grimier the better. You know, New Orleans, Oakland, Richmond, New York, Jersey, Chicago, like grimier the better. The artist establishes the pawn shop. We also, the artist, it's up to the artist how they get into the shop. So for example, let's say I show a pawn shop that's in the middle of East LA, right? And my camera pushes in through the triangle of the A, past a bunch of old video games and porno mags and guitar, and lands on a samurai sword that somebody pawned, right? We rewind, and it could be to when the sword was made. It could be to where the story begins at the crucial point. Maybe the point that we start in is when that item is activated, right? So like the samurai sword, we could say, for a lack of a better story, and I'm just giving you an example now, but what if it was the samurai sword that was used in Pulp Fiction, like from Bruce Willis's character? Like, how did that sword, show up? I mean, that was a pawn shop it was in, and what if he took it with him? And what if he tossed it? What if a kid found it? What if a kid, did something with it, committed a robbery with it? Anyway, we tell the story of the relation of that item, because you go into an antique store or a pawn shop, man, I look around and I see engagement rings and musical instruments, and when I see musical instruments and engagement rings, I see shattered dreams, right? And those make great stories. So I implore you guys, if you have any sort of pawn ideas, to draw them up. It's something fun to do. There's no real superhero in it unless you want to make it a superhero story. But it's like, I think it'd be a fun anthology. That's something, it's a conversation starter. The other thing too is I'll be doing some tutorials like do something called Leg Day, and we'll just talk about legs for a half hour, whatever it takes, and open up for questions, and also invite critiques where you guys send your art to me, and I can pop it up on the iPad and do some draw overs and talk it out. And I will do my best to be completely honest with you and give you constructive criticism, and hopefully not hurt your feelings, but send you on your way feeling like you can conquer the world. Let's see where we at time wise. Hour 40. I still have to work tonight, and then I gotta go to the aquarium. Let's see what we got in here. Mad respect for the freestyling. Hip hop isn't my bag. I dig Tech 9, but he's pretty close to the metal genre. Yeah, Tech 9, you're right. Get back into the rhythm again. Chauncey Breakley, you'd be surprised, reminded him when I rap. Reminded damn. It's not easy to freestyle. Let's see, I've been watching reaction videos. Dudes watching hip hop from the 90s and realizing that they hate mumble rap. Oh, I wish those times would come back. Well, Critius or Critius, I'm not sure how you say it. If you're ever in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, or if we're at a con, just come up and introduce yourself. We'll kick it. Yeah, and Rooster Puncher, we showed Dan a good time when he came to Connecticut. That's right, man. Rooster Puncher, I met through Twitter. Met him for the first time at the East Coast Comic Con. We got to link up in Connecticut, have some beer and libations, and enjoy a meal and hang out with that crew, and it was a fucking awesome time. What up, Joshua Gillian? Welcome. Rodwell Stevens, welcome. Let's see. I'm a good 20 minutes back on these. You're here to look at my mannequin. Otherwise, I would have left. Durkin, you're awesome, bro. He's got the Rakim book here. Take a knee on your own time. What does that mean, take a knee on your own time? Kevlar, I want to know what that means. Twitter cuts deep. Yeah, no Vaseline. That's a good diss video, or diss song. You can't do a comic with me. Oh, I see what you're doing. You can't send me pizza every day for a year. Yeah, bald rap is my favorite genre. Bald rap. I like bald rap. Bald. Yeah, because you could say, I bald her, I be bald this. I cried, I bald. That water scald. Dan, wear a mask. It's what I'm going to start doing when I jump on live streams. Oh, I have a wrestling mask somewhere. What would be funny is to wear a Fragaboom mask. I started the Inktober, but I had Comic-Con, fell behind. Should I still post my drawings? Joseph Kinlaw. Yeah, man. You don't even have to play catch-up. Just start on today. And if some of those are like, giving you the spider tingles in a good way, then do those. Now you kind of have a salad bar of drawing what you want. Like for me, I try to stick to my guns, and like today, like Misfit, I had no idea what I was going to do. And if if someone said, oh, you have the choice, you can draw ornament or wild, and like, shoot, you're kind of in a good place for that. Harry Mack walks around and freestyles on the street, raps about people's clothes or whatever. If you haven't checked out his YouTube, it's worth the dive. I'm going to have to. We're over 50 people deep. What's up, everybody? What up, Akuma? I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. What is my favorite genre when working on comics? Superhero, horror, etc., etc. Critius, that's a great question. And I'm going to give you an answer that is going to be a definition that I made up. And some of the regulars here are going to know what I mean, but I don't know if it's going to sound like some ego shit, but I'm going to just say it. I like drawing Fragaboom comics. And what a Fragaboom comic is a potpourri of all of it. And it's because I like drawing everything.
you won't see me draw a lot of bad girl stuff because, like I said, I'm not that good at drawing women, and maybe it's something I should practice at. Maybe someone will say you can't ever draw good women, and maybe I'll get good at it. But you won't see me do any like Lady Death or things like that because it's just not my bag. Horror, I like elements of horror, but I like you take a book like Black Flag. There are elements of horror. There are elements of the supernatural. There are elements of paramilitary. There's elements of tech. There's elements of cute. There's elements of big and bold. So when I say Fragaboom, what I mean is it's like a salad. I like putting it all in there and making a tasty mix. It's like hip hop or Jeet Kune Do. I think that'd be the answer. Hip hop is a good way of saying the Fragaboom. It's a mashup. I like surprising myself, but if any comic, the only comic I would ever really want to draw that wasn't mine, like that, it's the only one that I would like. If someone offered me X-Men, I would pass. I know that sounds crazy, but I would pass. If I was offered Batman, I would pass. But if I was offered Spider-Man, especially if they said I could contribute to the plots and writing, I'd have a hard time saying no to that. It's just that's what it is. Let's see here. I skipped working out tonight to watch. I'll make it up tomorrow. Man, hopefully we're giving you some healthy mind stuff. Mark, you could rewatch. This Couchdoodles has no special effects. What do you mean no special effects? You mean like this? You are watching the Couchdoodle Show with Fragaboom, 28-year comic veteran. You mean like that? Or do you mean like this? Did you mean picture in picture? Audio is skipping. Oh, I don't know why. Stream is stuttering. That was over 10 minutes ago. Oh, you want to see that Carl Potts interview? Yeah, that's right. You were there. What's up, Mr. W? Looks like you made your W a capital now. That's good. Let's see. Stop teasing with the interviews. Do it or your audience will move on. Kevlar, I want to thank you, dude, because you are unfiltered and the voice. The interviews will happen. This is what happened. I told you guys about them, and the computer I used to edit died. This computer that I have right here, I'm going to switch cameras so you can see what it looks like. This right here is a 2006 Mac. Okay, a 2006. The only things that work on that are Explorer and not Explorer, Safari and Photoshop. I literally only work on that one. My computer in there that does editing died. I got a new one. It's in. It'll work. Sounds like excuses, but they're not. I could show them to you raw, but then you're gonna have to deal with like slip-ups, people wiping their nose, picking boogers. Maybe you want to see that. I don't know, but I want to tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you just call me out on shit, and I dig it. I appreciate that you do that, and I don't want anybody to move on. Kim Jong-gi is live. Facebook art group, Ian will dig the interview streams. First interview will be. Who do you want the first interview to be out of that list I told you guys about? Channel is getting more banging by the minute. Thank you, sir. Beasley party me to the ground first time we met. He does that to everybody. The man is a beast. Put the soap in the sock and start swinging. That's right. Okay, let me catch up. Tori Hondo, how do we get you a horror comic? We can always go with Hancock's. Okay. We're talking about that there. What's your opinion on selling prints at cons of characters people don't have the rights to? That is a great question. It's tough. right? Because I don't own the rights to Spider-Man, but I've drawn Spider-Man before, so am I allowed to? Because I've drawn Spider-Man. And as a person who's drawn Wolverine 5 issues, can I do a Wolverine print, right? Or I've never drawn Star Wars, can I do a Star Wars print? This is what's tough. There's a conundrum, right? When I put out prints, like I was like, I'm only putting out prints of my shit. And I made Black Flag prints. I made Bloodstrike because Rob said I could. And nobody wanted them at all. And that they would go through some of my portfolio and be like, oh, yo, the Spider-Man Stan Lee thing, man, that'd be a great print. You know? I don't know how I feel about it. I do know how I feel about pricing. And I'm going to co-sign on my buddy Ali Garza. He and I had this conversation once where he said there was a guy next to him that never drew a comic in his life that was selling 3 prints for $10, and Ollie was selling one print for $15, right? And somebody walked by, looked at his neighbors, went to his and said, why are you so expensive? They say to Ollie. And Ollie's like, because I actually drew the thing. I actually drew the book. This person next to me is just, doing their thing. So I think there should be some price control. It's not a really simple black and white answer. I think there needs to be price control. There needs to be regulation. I don't think it needs to be Gestapo-ish where people take your prints and beat you down. Chauncey, your daughter wants to know how I got my great drawing skills. Your jokes are Rooster Puncher. You're funny. My jokes are landing 10 minutes too late. Philip, Joseph, you missed today's, and I know I'm like 5 minutes behind. I'm gonna catch up as quick as I can. My answer for Chauncey and your daughter is how I got my awesome great drawing skills. Number one, I don't ever feel like I'm great. I feel like I do serviceable work. That's number one. Number two, I draw every day. I draw every day, even if I don't feel like it. That's that answer. What up, Mitchell Coleman? How are you? Fragaboom, Boom Girls, Rodwell. Are you planning to do your own book soon? Critias, yes. Black Flag is on the way. It has been plotted. I've started layouts. We will be teasing the first 8 pages in the campaign. Gonna have a cover by pencil by me, ink by Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane. Rob's already signed on. If you were out for the main man Lobo, I would love it. I would love Lobo. I'm telling you, Dan, you and I are going to be doing a book together. I have a perfect character for you since you mentioned Spider-Man. You never know. You never know, but I have a lot of plans in the works, so you gotta have an idea that beats my ideas. That's just how it be like. So if you blow my mind and I see it and I'm like, yo, okay, I have to do it, then we might be on. Quick question from the gym: what's the sit rep on Black Flag? Sit rep. I don't know what sit rep means, dude. D. Yeah. If you could tell me what sit rep means, I would be happy to answer that. D. You're talking about the explosions and things. So those are editing effects, right? I can put them on videos I've already shot, but I don't have any live ways to do explosions via OBS, but I will try. Also, my buddy Dan Panosian, he has this great live stream called Drink and Draw, where he has 6 people in. I talked to him today about how he's doing that, so we're going to try to work some of that out. Rodwell, good catch. Yes, I did say that. That offer is open for anybody. Let's see. First interview, Bisley. Well, I gotta get that one. He said yes, but we haven't filmed it yet. When I saw him at last time I saw him was at East Coast, and he said let's do it tomorrow.
And then tomorrow came and he's like, my energy's not there, mate. And I said, okay, then we'll do it next time. So, as a person trying to be a colorist, it sucks that I can't do prints. Perhaps you can partner up with somebody. You know, say, hey, let's do some prints together. Like, you know, you go out and put them out, and I'll color them for free as long as I can sell them. There you go. Got a bunch. Dude, that pricing response is great. One struggle with that. Yeah, it's tough. Oh, maximum press. Yeah, I gotta see if Rob will do that. I gotta get Rob to call me back. That's the thing. He's it's like wrestling a greased pig, that guy. Peace out, Chauncey. Have a good one, man. Sit rep is military speak for situation report. Oh, okay. Sit rep. I like that. Sit rep. Because when you said you were exercising in sit rep, I'm like, well, when I was a kid, I could do some sit-ups, and right now my back hurts, so I could do one and then complain a lot. What up, King Crow? Peter, I sent you a DM on Twitter. Would love to do a quick 15-minute interview with you. Yeah, let's do that, dude. Let's set up a time. Peter Gold, for sure. D, there's no lack of see, Chris Arnecki, you knew what sit rep was. See, I gotta learn these things. There is a byproduct of when you really deep dive and just spend most of your time drawing. You lose track of things, and I'm gonna tell you guys something that you'll probably bug you out slightly. I have seen maybe 20 episodes of The Simpsons. I've seen maybe 20 episodes of Friends. I've maybe seen 15 episodes of Seinfeld. So 90s TV, early 2000s TV, I didn't see a lot of it because I was busy drawing. And what ends up happening is, like, I get better at drawing, but I miss out on a lot of vernacular, a lot of cultural things. Then, you know, that's the double-edged sword of social media. Social media kind of gets me caught up on some stuff, but I'm still kind of a numbskull on a lot of things. So, you know, people will say some catchphrase from a 90s show or early 2000s show, and I'll blink at them like, sorry, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, 50 people is a record. I want to thank Blacklist Universe. I want to thank the members of Blacklist Universe that said they would come over here and pop over. So here's the thing. I try to go on every night around 9. If you follow my Instagram, which is Couchdoodles, or my Twitter, which is Couchdoodles, or my Facebook, which is just me, there's an art of Couchdoodles too, but it's like a mirror of my Instagram. I try to post about an hour before I'm going to go on, when I'm going on, but generally speaking, it's roughly around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, and the show is a lot like this. It's a little different every day. Some days I draw digitally on the iPad. Some days I have a camera and you can watch my hands draw. We do some comic reviews. I was going to do some today, but we're running out of time. It is 2 minutes to 2 hours, which is one of our longer ones. But you guys have been an incredible crowd. I want to express my gratitude for you guys showing up. Raise a glass. Happy Friday to you guys. Clink, kapoosh. I'm gonna double it up, beer and wine. I learned to do this in Europe because people just kept handing me drinks, and it was that's what we do. Chris, thank you for the kind words, dude. Thank you, Slick Rick, the ruler, Lottie Dottie. And then one of these days you guys will get me to freestyle, but you have to ask. I'm not just gonna do it. Oh yeah, dude, Rob Willis
dude, come on. Like I told him, I was like, dude, you did the work. Keep doing the work because, you know, he's saying kind things to me like, oh, thanks for, you know, saying this stuff and being encouraging and all that. And I had to say, I straight up said to him, you have to realize that what you're doing is inspiring too. You know, if you do good work, it does it. Like for me as a fan, I don't care if it's your first gig or if you've been doing it for 20 years and suddenly something clicks. If the shit is dope, it's dope. And when I saw Rob Willis' stuff, I stopped. I had to stop and I looked at it and I zoomed in and I'm like, yo, this is fucking lit. And I instant follow. And when I saw he was doing a book, money, boom, down. Saw it was going to be out in black and white, money. Build it, they will come. Do the good work hard. When it hurts and you want to cut corners, remember. And I have this conversation all the time with some of my inkers. Books like this Avengers Annual 10 exist and are classics 30, almost 40 years later, where every page sinks because the guy who drew this didn't back down. He didn't back down. My all, every single page, and even if I'm tired, if I'm hungry, if whatever, I know that it's bigger than me, and that's, you know, about Rob Willis stuff. Like I said, is it really hit all of them, hit every single, as far as the stuff that I'm into, that I've always been into, which is that exaggerated, well lit, plussed, betterfied idea of things. Yep, Shinobi Sasquatch. Let's see. The dude dig the show. He's killing. Gotta get things to do tomorrow. All right. Gave Gander a sketch of mine. You said you dug. Of course, man. Thank you, D-Oots. Clip for the Sasquatch. Black and white is Dan Kryptonite. Black and white is kryptonite, in a good way. Those IDW artist books, man, that'll get me every time. This bad boy's saying we are on low battery and we're past 2 hours. So what I'm gonna do for you gentlemen, and any ladies that are here, I don't know if there are. If they are, they're not talking. But love, respect. Mayaki, booyah! Mayaki's in the house. Matt, we got the highest we got today was 56. We gotta give Blacklist Universe a high five for sending gang over, and you guys that have come, stayed, hung out. You guys are always welcome. So appreciated that you guys came through. Love and respect. See you tomorrow. Fragaboom out.
DMC, the face to beat, Fragaboom!